I was telling her on the way in, there's several companies that I've been courting, and I called a few of them as the bill was making it through. I said, I think it's going to make it this time, and they said, we know, we're watching. So that's great. You know, they already were seeing that this was going through, so I'm very, very grateful. As I mentioned, we have some special guests with us. We have our Governor Susana Martinez. We have Senator Mary Kay Papen, who was one of the sponsors of the bill and worked very hard to get that through. And unfortunately, Representative Jim White couldn't be with us today, but he was also a co-sponsor of the bill. And we also have the chairman of the New Mexico Spaceport Authority here today, Rick Holdridge. And it's my pleasure to introduce him to you. He's a really interesting guy. When I took this job and they formed the board, and I looked at the chairman, I looked at his credentials, and he had 26 years in the United States Air Force, sort of similar to my background in the space industry. He has a PhD in astronautics from Stanford, and then he returned after he retired from the Air Force to his home state of New Mexico and down in Deming, where he took over the family real estate business and also a farm. And we benefit every year because he always gives us pecans from his farm, so our staff has wonderful pecan pies every year. So I've had a great time working with our board and in particular with Rick over the past several years on this fabulous Spaceport America project. So it's my pleasure to introduce Rick to you today. So Rick, do you want to come up and say a few words?
Thanks, Chris. They say third time's a charm. Well, we made it this time with the help of the ladies behind me and Representative White, too. I'm not sure the public until this year recognized the importance of what the governor and the legislature got done this year in passing this informed consent. But we got it done, and we're now where we can go head-to-head with Texas and Florida and Virginia. In fact, I think we're ahead of them because our spaceport really is the best. You look here and what don't you see? You don't see a bunch of buildings, you don't see any clouds in the sky, and what you don't see either is white sands next door, which gives us protection of airspace that makes us unique really in the rest of the world. We have the very best facility. Now we have the legislation to back it, and a lot of that credit is deserved to be given to our governor. So I'll introduce our governor as if she needs an introduction, and let her say a few words about the spaceport and what this is going to mean to New Mexico. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. As many of you know, we have worked on this legislation for now 2 years. I called for such legislation early in 2012, and again in my State of the State address this year. That's how important this is to our state. We have to ensure that companies that want to operate in our state do not face unreasonable hurdles and will position our state to better contend for business investment. Unfortunately, New Mexico has already lost several opportunities for new investment and jobs in favor of states that have already passed this legislation. I am pleased today to be signing legislation that will level the playing field for New Mexico. I certainly thank Senator Papen and Representative Smith for what they did to make sure this got through the legislature and onto my desk so that I could sign it. It was this close last time. The significance, I think, as time passed, the importance of it became more and more recognized by not only the people in these counties, but the people throughout the state of New Mexico because of the large investment. Senate Bill 240 will expand our existing liability law to cover manufacturers and suppliers to guarantee that we can compete with other states involved in the commercial space industry, states like Florida, Texas, and Colorado. Legislation will not only protect spacecraft companies from frivolous lawsuits, but more importantly, it will protect the $209 million investment that New Mexico taxpayers have already made in this project. This bill will still allow legal options for space flight participants who are a victim of willful, wanton, or reckless disregard, but will also create an environment that enables our state to be more successful at recruiting commercial space tenants at Spaceport America. like Virgin Galactic, who now holds a 20-year lease of Spaceport's main terminal hangar. Spaceport America has already created over 1,000 construction jobs and will increase the spaceport tourism industry in our state. And we want to continue to see forward and upward-looking companies land here in New Mexico, which can only advance our economic development, and of course, our tourism as well. Before I sign this bill, I'd like to ask Senator Papen to say a few words. I'm very grateful for her hard work, as well as the work of Representative Jim White, their efforts to move this bill through the legislature. Without them and their understanding of how important this was, it truly would not have happened. Senator Papen?
Excuse me, thank you. Well, I think the governor really said it all, but I want to really thank all of the people. John Varela, who's worked hard on doing all of this, the governor and her staff, all the people who have been there, Christine Anderson, who has been here and sometimes I think been the whipping boy for getting some of these things passed. And I do want to thank the trial lawyers for finally coming together with us and for us being able to come together and put something together so that this can remain a reality and grow as it should grow. It's been a pleasure to work on this. It's been hard work for all of us. I'm so sorry that Representative White is not here today because we have been equal partners in doing every bit of this all the way. And so I'm very sorry that he's not here today. Bruce Jackson worked hard with Bruce and his wife on a lot of different things. So I know I'm forgetting a lot of people, and of course my family is here today. And my great-grandson, James, is here. He came out of school today to come up here and understand what's going on with this. So Governor and Chuck, thank you so much for being here and for believing in this. I think it took a lot of belief from a lot of people to make this happen, and thank you very much.
You know, the expansion of our aerospace and space flight industries should continue to be a goal for our state, given the strong competitive advantage we have in these arenas. By signing this bill today, we not only reaffirm the major commitment New Mexicans have made to Spaceport America, but we now have an even stronger opportunity to grow the number of commercial space jobs and across our state. Thank you, and I look so forward to the future role our state will play in space industry. I remember being here not that long ago with reporters from all over the world as we saw folks from I'm drawing a total blank, Sir Branson, hanging over the edge of this beautiful building and dancing off of the glass. And I think at that time I changed my bucket list from not going up in space, but being able to do what they did off the glass windows. Now that would be fun. That would be fun. So now we're going to sign the bill. We have here Senate, there it is. Senate Bill 240 as amended. There's your pen, ma'am. Senator?
Thank you.
Gives that to Representative White.
Excellent. Well, he will get his.
Oh, okay.
Senate Bill 240 as amended is now law. And hooray for space. This is a great accomplishment, a great accomplishment. You're welcome, you're welcome. This is wonderful. This is a big deal.